Okay, we're working on problem number 4 now. And I'm seeing there's an equation over here. And the first thing I'll do is just solve it for 0. I'm looking for a root to the problem. So I'm going to say f of x. Again, I'm solving that equation for 0, and I'll call it the function. And I'm going to say cosine of x, let's see, minus 4 arc cosine of x. Now, I need to understand what the x is, but the bottom line is they say, is there a solution between 0 and 1? All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the interval to be 0 to 1. But the bottom line is the arc cosine is between minus 1 and 1. So certainly I could pick the interval, minus 1 to 1. Let me do that. And it's continuous on that interval, by the way. So what I'm going to do is, I'm sorry, I did that again. I had it restricted to 0, sorry, because they did that. So I'm going to say from 0 up to 1, all right? All I have to do is evaluate this, and I'll put this over here, f of 0. Well, the cosine of 0 is 1, minus 4 arc cosine of 0. So it's going to be minus 4, and the arc cosine of 0 would be pi over 2. What does that give me? 1 minus 2 pi. Now, I hope you realize looking at that you know that's below 0. Just by looking at it, all right? 2 times pi, roughly 6. 1 minus 6 is definitely below 0. So that's encouraging. I got a point below 0. Now I want to see if I get a point above 0. So I'm going to try the 1. And what do you get there? Well, cosine of 1, a little kind of difficult, but I could still write it down. And then minus 4 arc cosine of 1. And the arc cosine of 1 is 0. So then what do you get over here? You get cosine of 1. Now, what do I know about the cosine of 1? If you look at the cosine curve is going to look like this. And this is pi over 2, which is like 1 point something. So what do I know about it? I know it's above 0. All right? So I may not know what the number is, but I know it's above 0. So what do I know about this? And let's write this down. We have 2 points, and we started at 0. So at 0, the point we get is, let's see, 1 minus 2 pi, which is definitely a negative number. And then we went to 1. We got cosine of 1. I know there's a connection between these two. It doesn't matter what the connection is, continuous. So what do I know? There's going to be some value where it's going to be equal to 0. And why is that? 0 is between 1 minus 2 pi and cosine of 1. So I know there's at least one solution on the interval. Were they asking for one solution? Let me just see what I wrote down over here. And I'll carefully look at this over here. Yeah, we're similar. Yep, we got that over there. By the way, I didn't use a calculator, but again, I hope you know that f of 1 is greater than 1. So I know there's a c on that interval between 0 and 1, such that the cosine of that number would be equal to 0. I just don't know what the c is, by the way. By the way, I'm not saying you can't figure it out. They're not asking me to figure it out. But I know there's some value that's going to produce a 0, and that's what they're looking for, some value. Thank you.